as everyone's getting on, how we all going. So we're about 2 minutes early. Ante, good to have you on, brother. You're actually early, man. Leaders go first. So I wanted to set the ambience. I wanted to set the intention right for this. Just give people a really good understanding of what I'm going to be sharing tonight. Is Thea, my sister, beautiful call today. That was great. I'm really going to be sharing a lot that some of you might know and some of you might not. And I know a lot of people through the journey, that know me and haven't really been on progress, that they've known me in the past. A lot of people have been messaging me saying, obviously, Lee, you're creating things now in Melbourne. We're seeing you around, and what motivated you to be there? Hey, Elaine, good to have you on, sister. Coco Val, good to have you on as well. So just while we're waiting for everyone to get on, I will just, write in a couple words. How's your day been? Set your intention, what's been happening. So, yo, it's awesome. Just keep me accountable as well, guys, if the internet decides to cut itself out. So everyone is just sending me a few messages, getting on. Is that a massive crystal? Yes, this is my pyrite crystal. Yep, it's my big pyrite. We actually, in the retreats, we simulate it to this little bugger. See, Elaine, if you came to Melbourne, you can get crystals like this. I'm sure in Greece you got crystals like that as well. So when I do a lot of my work and when I do a lot of my creation, but in the retreat, we this is what we get for all the men, and the ladies. And the ladies have they have a moonstone. So awesome stuff. Good to have everyone on. And I've got Elaine's her blessed holy oil from the monastery, where you said no ladies are allowed. So absolutely amazing. So thank you for that. So while everyone else is getting on, hey, T, Adrian's on here as well, and obviously Ante and everyone else that I can see that we've got that eyes that are watching live. Just turn this down for a moment. So I really want to set the soul, the intention that this is going to be completely different. Yeah, I want us all to say together, what's the intention that you actually want to take away from this video, from this live stream? So I'm going to share information with you. Good to have you on, Jody, all the way from New Jersey. So I'm going to be sharing information with you tonight. I'm going to be sharing some very, very private, sensitive information that basically really takes me to a dark place. And that's why I wanted to set up the place. I wanted to be, more relaxed. This is how I kick it with my salt lamp. I've got all my other crystals. If you see I've got a whole thing of crystals just here. And we'll keep the business side and we keep all that other thing, separate. We're going to talk heart to heart tonight. So before we start, you're saying you can't hear. Can everyone else hear me okay? Just give me a thumbs up if everyone else can hear me okay. Yep, all good. Awesome. So we're going to roll this live stream out, and it's going to be something that you probably haven't experienced before. Yeah, I think that was my sister. Was that my beautiful sister? I saw her thumbs up. So I really want you to get an understanding of. I know that we've all been through dark times, unfortunately. Yeah, and I'm going to take you on a journey tonight to understanding what it actually takes. Really, what the understanding of what that is, and what it takes to be. And actually go through those dark times, and what it takes to you to be that leader and that person to be able to move yourself through an understanding of how to get through that. Because what I want you to, and I'm going to promise you all today, sorry to point at you, I was getting excited then, that you can do anything you put your mind to. You might not be believing it right now, but you can create anything with a sustained choice and a sustained decision. Yeah? So before we start, I just want for about 1 minute, I'm going to put some music on, And I want to say, hey, how are you? How are you, Kiffinty? There's my Maltese brother. So I want you to, in a moment, I want you just to set the intention for 1 minute of what you want to get out of this, yeah? So set your intention, what you want to take away from this live stream. I want you to really be able to drop yourself in your heart. And I really want you to be able to, we're going to communicate heart to heart. Because if your heart's not open, then you're not going to hear what I'm going to say. So I want to make sure you're in a private place. I want to make sure that you're connecting. You're not worrying about you getting distracted. I want you just to be, for this 45 minutes or an hour, I want you to be in the now. So bring your awareness from here, and I just want you to be in the now. Good. So I don't want you to worry about what you're doing in the next hour. I don't want you to worry about what you're doing tomorrow. I just want you to relax and just give me your 100% attention and to be in the now just for this hour, yeah? And I want you to hear from your heart, not your ears or not your head, and we'll be able to communicate, yeah? You got it? So, the motivation for this live stream is to understand where I've been in such a dark time. Not many people have been there before, yeah? And you know what? I'm not proud of it. And when I talk about where I've been and what I've done, I use it as a blessing, and I always say to myself, before I allow it to hurt myself, what is the positive learning to take away from these events? Because you can take yourself there and you can put yourself into those states. I don't share this with you all for pity. I don't share this with you because I want you to feel sorry for me. I want you to be able to take some sort of hope, inspiration, or empowerment from my story, that where I've been and where I'm going, and you know where I'm at now and where I'm going. And if you can learn anything from it, I'm doing my job. If you can find or relate to something that's going to move you into the light, then I'm doing my job. Yeah? Job, you know what I mean by job. I don't really like the word job, but I'm just using it for logical terms for my purpose. Yeah? So, since coming back to Melbourne around December and really not knowing what I was going to do, where I was going to go, who I was going to be with, how I was going to continue my business after my breakup, it can get quite scary, yeah? And this time I've obviously, through my journey, I've had two breakups, two relationship breakups. So one was about 8 years ago and the other one was in October. And what you need to understand, people, and I'm going to let you know exactly, and we're going to jump forward, and I'm going to take you right back to the start. It is that if I didn't know what I know now, and if I didn't have you guys to lead, and if I wasn't constantly working on the next best thing and using the techniques, getting myself out of bed, eating good food, meditating, putting nutrients in my mind, being around the right people, I wouldn't be here. I would have killed myself, yeah? And I'm not saying that lightly. I'm being very, very honest with you guys. So with all that in perspective, you know, and I would say through the whole thing, I did lose part of myself. And I lost part of myself, but there was a part of me that was good that it was losing. It was a part of me that was weak. There was a part of me that was an old, you know, when you see a beautiful tree and it has a broken branch or something like that and it's holding it down. And that understanding was what I found out through that. And I'm not going to say I was the perfect person. I wasn't at all. I wasn't nowhere near as the leader that I should be, but there's times when we are going to be weak, yeah? When you do feel like your life's going that way and all of a sudden does a 360 turnaround and it was just like a massive betrayal by so many people, that can hurt, yeah? It can. And I do lead with my heart, and I am a passionate European, WOG, as we call ourselves. And I'm very truthful about what the world needs, what we need, yeah? So I always use the terminology, you know, my team, relationships, people, that we're all gears. We're all like a mechanism in a clock. And if we're in a team, if we're in a relationship, if we're in whatever it might be, that all these gears need to be turning. We need to be doing our job. We need to be functioning. Otherwise, there's going to be resistance. So coming back to Melbourne, it was a big challenge. The reason why, because I could probably tell you in almost every square inch of Melbourne, I can tell you a story, I can tell you about what happened, done something to someone, involved in something, in a party, in a car. You know, it's just crazy, and especially where I'm living now, having the Dome right around the corner and Chapel Street. I lost a lot of brain cells there, put it that way. So coming back to Melbourne, I was naive, because let's be honest, Melbourne is, hey Rachel, how you going? Thank you for that. Melbourne is a beautiful place. Yeah, it is. Melbourne is a very, very beautiful place. And it comes down to the point where we could be anywhere, and because we're not in the right state, we could not see the magic or feel the magic. So when I came back, I didn't really know. I lost my identity. You know, I was making it as I was going up. I was just wanting to get traction, you know, and I'm blessed to have people like Matty G, who just got on now. And, oh, he goes, the in-laws just left. It's all good. I was blessed to have my beautiful partner come back in my life, Jaboa, because, you know, we were seeing each other before my first engagement. And I'm so blessed to have my family. I'm so blessed to be honest with you, even before the retreat that we just had now, we've got all these amazing people, to have Fida, who's been a massive support cast to me. And just really to have my family, my sister, and the rest of it around me, because once I came back, I didn't know what I was doing and where I was going. But the one thing I want to tell you all, and I want you to listen to, I'm actually getting emotional now, that the one person that I had was me. Yeah, I would have to wake up with me. I would take myself, I'd have to go to the shower with myself. I would have to sit there in pain and darkness with myself, and I'd have to go to bed with myself, yeah? So what I had to make sure was that it didn't matter what was going around. I needed to fall in love with me again. I needed to understand why I was put on this planet, why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because we get caught up with too much of the scatter, too much, oh, I need to be this. People want me to be that, yeah? And you look without yourself, and you're doing all these abstracts, and you end up building this plaque around you, which is nothing like who you truly are. Because you're getting caught up with argument, you're getting caught up with rebut, you're getting caught up with other people's energy, you're getting caught up focusing without yourself, yeah? And what happened with that, I felt like I just existed. I was nowhere near the partner I should have been. I was nowhere near the coach I should have been. I was nowhere near Leigh Bundy as I should have been, yeah? And through that process, I did push a lot of people away. And, you know, I'm not going to say there was anyone's fault, but you're coming into a circumstance and understanding that. And what you really need to understand, people, sometimes in life you have to push the pause button. Press pause, and you need to just put that time in, 2 weeks, a month, or whatever it might be, what you can do to work on yourself. Because you will keep running around. If your tires aren't aligned and you're still rolling, you're eventually going to take off all the tread, and you're going to just be on steel, yeah? And that's when the car is going to go boom, and it's going to flip, and it's not going to be great. And that's like a human being. So that time of understanding was another massive life awakening for me, yeah, which happened in October. And it seems like the last month, or this retreat, it was a huge breakthrough for me, because I had my beautiful partner, I had my bro Ryan, who's been there from the start. You know, I had Matty G, I had all my new, you know, my sisters. I had Elaine, my, you know, my spiritual warrior sister. I had Kelly, I had Alana, I had Tama, I had Chris, I had Bree, and Perry, and so on and so forth. And then obviously beautiful Maria. And that was great, because it actually said, you know what? We're going to be okay. Things are great. Look what we just created. Look at the people that have come into our lives. Look at what we've just done. You know what I mean? And I'm so proud of you all that, you know, I know that I'm hard on you, but I'm so proud of you all, how far you've come. Yeah, I am. And that's why I was sitting there, and a couple of times I had to go to the beach because I was so emotional that, you know, we broke through that. And Bali, there's a lot of anchors. I lived in Bali for 3 years, and it was the same as Melbourne. There was all these memories which I wanted to wipe out. Yeah? And not bad ones or not good ones, but just something that weren't serving me to who I want to be now. So having all that in mind, people, and looking after hundreds of people and getting up with, 50 messages and some good, some bad, getting up with, okay, I've got this and, I've got all these things I need to do. Life can actually start to weigh down on you, yeah? It can start to get heavy. And then when you're not seeing people are matching with who you are and you're leading with your life, I do lead and say, hey, if people are fucking up, I'm going to let you know you're fucking up. For one thing, you have to stop it, and you're not going to do it to me or in my environment. Yeah, it's simple. It's not a hothead thing. There is just too many people out there that are doing wrong by people, and that's it. There's enough's enough. So understanding all that and, really finding myself and feel like I honestly lost my identity. I felt like I lost my power, or I lost my ability to transform lives. I really was showing up every day and doing what I could do, but moving forward, yeah? I was using the tools, I was getting up, and I'll be honest with you, when I was getting up doing my success priming in the morning, there were days that I was just doing it, I was just doing it for the hell of it. I wasn't believing it. I'm just like, this is not going to happen. Is my relationship going to be good, or something else going to happen? Are we going to break up? And I was always focusing on something bad to happen. I wasn't trusting anybody. There was just this and that. And I was creating this cliff that eventually I was going to fall off. So I said to myself one day, and this was before just the previous retreat in May, I said, I need to take myself back to 6 or 7 years ago, when I was sitting in my bed back at my parents' place, where I had a knife to my neck, I had a knife to my wrist and to my neck, and I had sleeping tablets, and I said, this is enough. I can't take this. I've fallen too far. I'm not going to be able to get back up. So now I want to take you now to 8 years ago, where my journey started, and I want you all to relate to this understanding. So 8 years ago, when I was 30, or I was even more than then, that I broke up with my first fiance. Completely different circumstances. I didn't know really where I was going in life. I was an electrician, I was a bodyguard, and I was just basically chasing which party, party from party from party. And obviously I could see myself, and I always knew bigger and better things for me then, yeah? I always knew, I've always played a top level basketball, football, I've always been the party starter. I've always been a leader in so many places in my life, but didn't really believe or knew that I was a leader. So I was with a girl for 9 years, and then we broke up, and I was living far from here, Richmond, and through that breakup, it was just knowing, okay, we're going to get married in a month, and the rest of that, blah, blah, I got all these things, and lost a lot of money, lost a lot of hope, and just lost a lot of myself, yeah? And through that process, people, and if you can relate to this, that you've lost somebody, can you relate to this, that, you've got a plan on life, or you've been pushing so hard, and then your dreams, your thought patterns, your plans just get ripped from under you, from about to get married, about to do this, living in the city, doing all these things, and all of a sudden it just goes boom. And obviously that was the decision, because what I said was, I do not see this woman as to be the mother of my children. So I had to make a decision, because I didn't know what I knew now. And I was giving in to the abuse, yeah? So I started to feel sorry for myself. I started to get into my feminine energy. I was almost getting bullied by my partner. And I started to believe that I was no good. I started to believe that I was shit. I started to believe when she says I got the short straw out of all my friends. But not to understand that you doing bodyguard and security work and electrician, you're still getting good money, still living. And life was actually good. It was a lot better than the way some people are living, but still. At that perspective, if this is happening, and I didn't know what I knew now, so a lot of it came into a point where I would just retreat, and I'd feel sorry for myself, and I'd have time off work, I'd lock myself up. I just lost me. I lost my manlyhood, I lost my power, like I almost did in October. Yeah? So I'm going to tell you, this is the differences, what I teach now and how it saved my life. And if I knew it back then, but obviously I was meant to go back what I went through back then, because look where I am now. So through this time, cutting a long story short, lost my apartment, lost my display home, lost where I was going to go basically, and I moved back, for a 28-year-old, 29-year-old man that's about to get married, to move back into your old room. It's a massive, oops, let me turn this on. There you go, otherwise I was going to look too orange. It's a massive kick in the balls, and it's a massive hit to your ego. Yeah? So I remember when I moved back, there was a lot of aggression. There was a lot of, I was so embarrassed, to be honest with you. Like, I've moved back to my parents' place, and I was ashamed that I was doing a dishonor to my family, because, you know, I love my family so much, and I want my family to be proud of me. And I went back and I was just, what the fuck am I going to do? My emotions, I didn't have any energy. I didn't have any hope. I was just rendered emotionally retarded, the doctors said. And, you know, and I wouldn't get out of it. I was just dragging my feet. I wasn't feeling great. And then instead of when I was feeling down in that, I would snap and I'd be aggressive. I would break things. I would smash certain things. And it was just, that was the way I was relating to, you know, being able to function now. And I was like, I'm not going to be happy anymore. I can't go to work. I can't do this. And I become a master of focusing on the negative. I become a master of one bad thought, another bad thought, another, and I would just sit there with a hoodie on. Yeah, I would sit there with a hoodie on, and I grew a beard, and I would just sit there, and I would rot. And it just got to the understanding when I would just, honestly, I would just let things keep building up on me, and I would keep focusing on the negative. And what do you think people called that? They called that depression. They called that bipolar. They call it one day this and that, and they call it manic schizophrenia. Trust me, I was so far from that. I was just focusing and feeling sorry for myself and focusing on negative points. I wasn't disrupting my pattern. I was sitting in one spot for hours. I was watching TV that I'd fall asleep sitting up. I would just feed myself until, you know, and I put on 30, 40 kilos, let alone someone that would train twice a day, that had so much energy, to sitting there, locking themselves in the room, and someone would come in. I was like a guard dog, like, rah, 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 you know, and I knew what I was doing, and I could see I was hurting my beautiful mother. I could see I was hurting my beautiful father, that, you know, he had grey hair, now it's gone white. And, you know, from them understanding how proud they are, of course they are now, but how proud they were of me, to seeing, fucking, what has happened? What has happened to their son that I just lost my way? You know, and in that circumstance, people, especially for men, if you're not cool, if you're not, you know, if you're not a bikie, if you're not, you know, a millionaire, if you're not driving a Ferrari, if you're not someone that your mates can be around, that they can look good, they take off. And that just shows you who was your real friends or who wasn't. And I had a small sort of group of people that hung around. But I tell you what, through that process, if it wasn't for my mum and dad, my relatives, my auntie and uncle and the rest of that, I had nobody. Yeah, nobody. So that's why I was on the journey to create what I call Team Beast Mode International. Yeah, and through that process came the True Authentic Reality, which that allowed me to express, communicate, create a business. Yeah, and that's why I teach the True Authentic Reality. Through the understanding of obviously all my other breakthroughs, that's why I've created services on them. And I'll tell you the rest of the story. So I would go to bed crying, and I would wake up crying. I wouldn't want to wake up. I would take that many sleeping tablets that I just wanted to do something stupid. I remember that I would punch holes in the wall. I remember my dad was so scared that he didn't know what I was going to do. He called police and 8 cop cars. Yeah, the house was full of police to sedate me. And I remember through that process of that going on, that these cop cars, luckily with one of the police there, I was about to get up and grab the guy's gun, and luckily one of the police that were there was a guy that I used to play basketball with, Craig Stoke. Stoke, sorry, not Craig Stoke. Craig Stoke is my accountant, Craig Stoke. And he sat there and he sat down with me and he goes, hey, you know, what's going on? He closed the door and I just burst out with tears. And through this process, what was so crippling and what was so emotionally destroying, I got into such a deep layered state of pain that I stopped talking. So I would have my hoodie on, and people would talk to me and I would just stare. I could hear what they were saying, but because I was that emotionally rendered, I would not speak. And this happened for 3 months. I didn't know, for 3 months I wouldn't speak, and people would be saying something and I can hear, and I would just have tears. Because, you know, when you forget something, you're like, oh, geez, what was that? That's how I was to function. Yeah? And it just kept getting layered upon layered upon layered. When, you know, I took antidepressants, the doctor said, well, you have to take Cymbalta, you have to do this. And I was looking for these different amino acids to make me feel better. And I got, you know, I spent all this money to go get my brain scanned and all these tests and that done, you know, to go off to Florida, and all this stuff happened, people. So it wasn't great. So I'm really good at telling you how I can fuck up my life, yeah? So going from someone that was a great sports star, someone that was funny, humorous, always with energy, someone that people looked up to, someone that people knew all the, you know, around Melbourne, around everywhere, and to go someone that basically then lost his way. That, you know, no, it wasn't anyone else's fault. It was my choice, and then it was my constant decisions where it took me. And the reason why it's scary, because people feel they have given you the right advice, but what they don't know, they don't know. Yeah? And they might be telling you something because they care for you, but it's making the situation worse. Just gonna have a quick drink. It's actually making the situation worse. Because they might feel that they're helping you, but they're not understanding psychology, they're not understanding the power of the mind, they're not understanding the words that they're using is just aggravating the matter. Yeah? And that happened with my dad. You know, he wanted to do the right thing, but through his energy and through what he was saying, he was coming from a place of love and just what he knew, and he was aggravating me. He got me really angry sometimes, or I allowed myself to get angry. And yeah, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't cool. It wasn't, you know, you don't want that reaction, or so on and so forth. So this got really bad, and I would lock myself in my room and I would watch movies. After the movie would finish, I would get anxiety or a panic attack, and I'd run outside, and you know, and everyone would look at what's going on, and you just get in a panic attack. Because what was happening, and this actually happened to me in October. In October, I would have trouble sleeping, and you know, I think I had sleep apnea. I think I've got it still a little bit, and my mind's going 100 miles an hour. And you know, I remember I would fall into a deep sleep sitting up or at my desk or here where I'm at now, and then all of a sudden I would think of something, I'll get this massive panic attack, and you know, and we're up pretty high here, and I had, you know, would want to jump over the balcony, or you know, by the time I run downstairs, go down there, you know, you couldn't have that. And you know, and I never had a panic attack before that time, all those years ago, and I never had a panic attack in October. So obviously that connection to my mind was quite scary, where I was going. But what I'm going to tell you, people, in the next part of it, I really want you to connect with, yeah? Because I know a lot of people out there that have lost their ways, and they have that time by themselves to have that dark moment and one bad thought after another bad thought. I know a lot of people out there have attempted to take their lives, and some have taken their lives. I know a lot of people out there that they can keep focusing on the negative, you know, one negative here, another negative there, you know, with people. And honestly, I catch myself doing that, hanging around, you know. And one thing that I'm having with an internal battle with people right now, that I am so motivated and so proud of people when they're doing great, but when people fuck up, it seems that my attention goes to that, and I'm wasting, and it's sucking the life out of me. And that's something that I need to learn as a leader, because I'm so invested in people, negative or positive, that when they do something positive, yes, let's go, and bang, it's a mess. And I've got tears coming out my eyes, my heart's pumping. I'm just like, fuck, you know, it's like I've given birth to somebody. But when people fuck up, it's just like I seem that my energy is so drawn to that. It's just like, do you know what I mean? It's just, you have to cut that off. But what that says, and you know what, and why I'm telling you this, and what I will share with you, it is that I actually care for people more than they care for themselves. And that's something which is a gift, and it's a curse at the same time. So, and there's a reason why I just told you that then, and this is going to come parts of the story. So if you're saying, Lee, so where did you go? Because of your leading, I have stepped into my greatness. Yes, and because you've stepped in your greatness, I will keep leading even better. So there you go, Elaine. It's that energy exchange cycle. Awesome stuff, my sister. Jody, thank you. So it got to a point when I got to a fork at the end of the road, like this. I'm either going to hurt somebody, I'm either going to take my life, or I'm either going to become great. Because I always said to my parents, why has that person got that? Why can't I have it? They're a human being. Why is that person living like that? Why can't I live like that? They're just human. Why? You know, I know in basketball that I had that obsession of becoming great in the gym. You know, I could have been a champion bodybuilder. I was a champion basketballer. I was a champion footballer. And with that, because I know that I wasn't normal. Because when people would sleep, I would train to be when people rest, I would train to be my best. I would wag school to go and train. I had this energy, I need to keep getting better, because if I stop one day, someone else is going to overtake me. And that's what I used to feel, and that's how I operate now as a coach, and I want to get back into that, yeah? Even all those years, I'm 37 now. When I was 17 or even younger, I was 14 when I went to America. You know, people are just basically, they learn how to, you know, change their nappy when they're 14 years old, lived in America, playing college basketball, slam dunking, some of the shit that I could do and lift when I was 14, people in their 30s couldn't do. So I know what it takes to sacrifice to be exceptional, not good or great or excellent, exceptional. And that's the mythology that, and I'll be honest with you, that these days I'm still battling with, because there's time when your energy's going out to others and you forget about yourself. But back then, all I had was myself to worry about, yeah? So sometimes you need to put yourself in a system where you're just worrying about yourself. Have the time off, go with there, say, hey, look, I'm unplugging for 2 weeks, work on yourself, come back refreshed, come back like Rocky, and then rock it out. And I tell you what, you really need to do that. And I honestly feel like I need to do that right now. So, as I said, and I sat there, and I remember my mum talking to me and on the edge of the bed, and she said, Leigh, what do you need from us? Like, what's going on? What do you need from us for you to get better? And my dad was there as well. And I remember I listened, and then I didn't say anything. Then I walked back in the kitchen, and I think I haven't spoken for a month or something. And I walked back in the kitchen, and it's quite emotional, actually. So I walked back in the kitchen, and they probably don't remember this. And I said to them both, well, I'm sorry for the way I've been, and I just want you to watch how I'm going to be now, and I'm going to make you proud. And that was my motivation. Instead of me keep fucking up my life, yeah? Instead of me being someone that was giving a lot of pain. You know, through that time and that understanding as well, when you're hurt, when you're afraid, you start to be around other people and start to form, you know, this understanding of, you know what, no one else is here to save me. The world doesn't give a fuck about me. So I'm going to start taking the law into my own hands. I'm going to start to push back, yeah? So I started hanging around with the wrong people. I started hanging around, you know, just people that there's no rules. They take the law into their own hands. It's just like, you know what? You fucking don't, you know, I'm going to hang around with these people because I'm going to go around, I'm going to be the bully, and I'm going to fucking show anyone else, because I'm not obviously getting, you know, I'm not getting that understanding from anyone else. So a lot of people go down those paths. A lot of men go down those paths that no one is, you know what? They're not getting the justice, because through this understanding as well, what I want you to know about, that through my time as an adult apprentice coming through an electrician, I was bullied really bad, to the point where here I am hanging out with gangsters, here I am hanging out with bikies, here I am hanging out with people that own half of Melbourne. And then when I had to go to a job, I was scum. They told me to sweep the floors, they do this and do that. And for a long time I copped it, and a long time I accepted it, because the man that gave me the job used to be a friend of my dad's. And I used to say a friend, because he'd probably be dead now. And this man was an absolute pig. He was an absolute, you know, that understanding of, they knew who I was. I was 28 years old, and I can get on just says like this and no sound. Oh, you can't hear you saying, Kelly? I can get on just stays like this, no sound. Okay. So what I want everyone to understand, in through that process, there was a lot of bullying. But because I thought I had to stay in the job as an apprentice, I copped belittling, I copped bullying, I copped this, I copped that, to the point when I had enough. Because physically, I was bigger than I am now back then, and a lot more crazy, and a lot more versed in martial arts. And it was just like these people kept kept pushing me to a point when I had enough, and I did put some guy's head through the wall, to a point when, you know, that doesn't understand, and you know, there's no excuse for that. But because you put yourself in it's like an abusive relationship. So every day you're copying that. And I used to have anxiety. I used to have that. I used to drive from Craigieburn all the way to Mulgrave, which is 53 kilometers, there and back. You know, I had to be at work at 7 o'clock, so I was up at 5, you know, and that's a massive drive, if everyone knows that, through Melbourne, over to Bolton, Monash, and then, you know, through Gully Road. And I remember it just depowered me. I didn't have freedom of speech. I actually started to stutter. I would keep my mouth shut, and I would think so much. I want to say this, I want to say that, I've got all these things to say, I want to say it. But I never used to say it because I used to come out and then it never came out. Or they'll go, oh, they'll tease me, or... and that was... I felt like I was in prison. I felt like that I might as well be dead. And I remember I would say everything that I could to not go to work. And through that time and process, going through another job, I remember that someone even put me on the books, and understanding, I don't want to bore you with the legalities, but to be an apprentice, you have to do on the job for 9 months. And I remember that I was about to get married, and the rest of all this other stuff was happening. So for my apprenticeship, I had to get the 9 months on. He actually put me through as a trade assistant, so he didn't have me on the books. So when I went to go and get my ticket to be my A grade, there was no 9 months, and he said, there's no more work for you. So there's no more work, and I can't get my trade. And he's basically done the shifty and left me there. And I said, hey, I don't even have my ticket. You guys, and I'm about to get married. He said, mate, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Let alone, here I am, got tears in my eyes. I'm about to go back and tell my partner I don't have any work. We're about to get married. And he goes out in front of about 50 people, and he goes, hey guys, has anyone got any shit that Leigh can shovel, that he needs a job? You know, he's sitting here fucking whinging to me. So, and that just flipped a switch in my head. Yeah, that just flipped a switch in my head. For someone to do that and to understand, and this is why the world, if you don't control your world, if you do not protect it, if you do not fucking stand guard at the doors of your mind and make your own dreams come true, you're leaving your dreams and your heart to some other motherfucker that doesn't care about you. Are you guys understanding this? That you're understanding, putting yourself in a fucking prison, that they're just going to tell you what you want to know, so then they can get you what you want, and you're making someone else rich. You are a pawn to these people. It makes me so angry, because I'm going to tell you the next part. And you can judge me or not, but I'm telling you the truth about this, yeah? So to the point that this person humiliated me, that he put me in such a dark state that I got on the phone and I'm pleading to him. And he's like, mate, just shut the fuck up. You know, you haven't got the job. Just go and work at a milk bar. Just go and get on with it. This is what I got, yeah? To a point, this is why people, no excuse, it's not an excuse, but this is why people, you keep hitting them and they go, enough's enough. So what I basically, something clicked in my head. And this is the old me, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna kill this guy. Literally, I'm gonna fucking put him away. And look, when I'm saying this, people, I'm being like, I don't want people to take it the wrong way. So what I'm going to talk about and understand is that I organized basically a hit on this person. So I'm telling you, because this is how stupid I was, not knowing what I know now. So I planned as him to come out. We had a van to throw him in the van, and we were going to do something to him to make him pay for that, because he was an absolute pig of a person. And there's a reason why I'm telling you this story, because there is an actually outcome, yeah? So I planned to put this guy in the van, and we had it already. We're at the end of the street in Thomastown. I've got 4 people in the car. We've got balaclavas on, and we're about to drive. And he crosses the road. Yeah, he crosses the road. So they're waiting for it. And I just said, no, let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. Because what happened was, I just thought that why would I give a person like that the justice so he could give me more pain, he could give me more understanding about that, and we just kept driving past. And I remember we parked in Settlement Road in Thomastown, and I sat there, and the guys are going, "What the fuck you doing?" And I said, no, look, I fucking apologize. The way I'm going to get back at this person, and the way I'm going to get back at every motherfucker that hurt me, that I'm going to show them who I really am. I'm going to show them that I'm not some fucking little minion that they can push around, that they think they can bully because they've probably been bullied and they've got little man syndrome or whatever it is. Just give me a second. I can't get my screen on anyway. You can look at me in the orange. And I don't know what's going on with my computer. And so going forward now, yeah, what happened with that and what happened with that understanding with obviously that person doing that? I'm going to jump out a little bit so you understand. So I obviously did isogenics, yeah. I was quite successful with isogenics, and yeah, trust me, I hate bullies as well. And through the thing what I did with isogenics, that this old boss was part of the business. So what happened with that was, so obviously this is probably 2 years ago. So I'm quite a high achiever. I was a leader. I was on many stages in isogenics, and I was moving around, you know, obviously, and I was well known. I was on all the pictures, a so-called like sort of celebrity, and I was, you know, well known because I was doing quite great in the business. So he comes in the business, this guy, my old boss, but he looks at me because he used to be this fat, short little guy, and he lost some weight, so he won one of the awards. It's called Iso Body Challenge or something like that. And here I am, got about a line of 50 people wanting to talk to me and wanting to know about, well, what's going on. A lot of people wanting to know about beast mode as well. And I loved it because I was educating people, I was teaching them, and that's what it was. And I had a lot of my team there. And I saw him, yeah? And I saw him. And I looked at him, and I could have done two things. I could have ran up to him with all the people I had there and just punched him in the face. And I'll be honest with you, 80% of me wanted to do that. And I looked at him and I walked up to him, and then I said to him, hey, his name's Jason. I said, hey, Jason, how are you? I go, do you remember me? And he basically shit himself and almost ran. He had his kids and his wife and that there, so I was going to make it very respectful. And I said, hey, yeah, so it's cool. And I went to his wife. I said, she couldn't remember who I was. And I said, oh, I'm just Leigh Bundy, the guy that he sacked when I needed a job when I was married. And you remember he just said, oh, you're a fucking idiot to all the people. And I said, that's all cool, bro. It's in the past. We put it on. And he basically couldn't come up and talk to me, yeah? But that was the biggest exhilarating moment, that he obviously being part of that and part in the group, that he was standing, like we went to these different functions, and I had grown so much. I had just, you know, I look at him now and that he had no power of me because I created my own fucking power and my own pedestal helping others. Yeah, not because I got a promotion in a job, not because do you know what I mean? And I looked at him and he looked that big, yeah? And he is a small guy. And I looked at him, he's got 3 sons and a wife. And I remember, and I'm just like, I wanted to say something. I wanted to talk to him. I wanted to speak to him about it. And then I remember he sent me a message on Facebook. Hey man, you know, you're doing great things now. I saw you're up on stage. Yeah, you know, that's fantastic what you're doing and the rest of it. And I said, oh, that's really cool, dude. You know, that's, thank you for that. But let's just cut the chase. I haven't forgot what you did to me, and I'll never forget what you did to me. All I'm going to say to you is I'm going to say thank you for giving me that fuel in my belly to be a better person. And I hope, and what I'm going to say is you should be thanking me because I've given you a chance to still keep breathing and enjoying your family. Put it that way. And he looked at me and he's gone, what? Yeah, so so we did it. So and I'll tell you something else as well. So in the messages, he did that, and when we spoke, we actually spoke again. I think it was another time when we had the celebration in Brisbane, and we spoke again. And you climbed your own mountain, exactly. And then I remember when we spoke, about with the messages. And I said to him that as well. I'm going to go, mate, you put me in such a place, but you put me in a place now. All I'm going to say to you is thank you, because people like you, I'm creating an environment, I'm creating an understanding, and I'm creating so I'm just trying to get the light happening here on my computer. Anyway, we've blown it up. It's all good. So I'm creating an environment to make sure no one else turns out like you, or I protect people from you. So thank you for giving me that understanding of what not to be. And he looked at me, and I felt like I was like, I'm 6'2", he's about 5'10", or 5'6" or something. And I just looked down at him and I said, thank you. Yeah. And I'm going to say, look, I'm not going to say that all the anger's gone, but because of you, that's basically where that happened. And I'm telling you all this to build up an understanding of why I do what I do and why am I so passionate about it. Because at the end of the day, most of the people that are out there in the world, at whatever, in a corporate understanding, that those people do not give a fuck about you. So if you're in a place where you're vulnerable, if you're in a place where you keep struggling, if you're in a place where the dictation of your livelihood is going to be put where other people don't care about you, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you actually care about yourself, if you actually understand that no one's coming to save you, that no one else is coming to fucking to say, hey, look, I've got a better option for you. You have to start understanding people and waking the fuck up today and start putting things into place and start creating your own life. Because guess what? If you keep listening to these other Muppets, you're going to be a Muppet yourself, because someone's going to have their hand up your ass and they're going to be doing that for the rest of their life. So what I want you to understand, that through my journey, that I become fixated and I become so fucking obsessed with wanting to tell people the truth and wanting to empower people in a way that if they don't like it, a lot of people can't handle it. Like one person left today, another person left because they couldn't handle the standards. Do you know what I mean? And that's just straight out. Like, it's not the standards for me, it's the standards for fucking change. And the people that stay on are the people that have these fucking miracle lives. And we're like, my God. But the people that want to go, oh, you said this and I can't do that and I don't want to do that. And do you know what I mean? They stay overweight. They stay miserable. They stay abused. They stay broke. They stay going in fucking circles. I had a beautiful call from Feeder today, yeah? Me and Feeder came into each other's life. She's a beautiful mum, 5 children, obviously wife to Carl. And we come in each other's life at the right time because she felt let down by a certain person that I knew. And she was frustrated, she was angry. And I remember this happened in March this year. And it feels like forever. And I remember she rings me and she's like, fuck this and my life and this is bullshit. I can't believe this has happened. I said, hey. I'm in Bali now. Get yourself over to Bali and I will work the rest out, yeah? So I remember her and her husband came over, and this was the first Beauties and the Beast retreat, and she came over and it was like I was still I was still battling a few things, my relationship and the rest of it, what was going on, and there was just a whirlwind. And I remember I had to show up for these people. I had this fucking storm inside of me of pain, of confusion, of feeling lost. But those 6 days at the retreat, I had to put on this fucking mask and just be this staunch warrior. And that gave me that big thickness and understanding. And through that process, everyone that was on that retreat had massive breakthroughs, as they always do. Where people fuck up, they come back home and they do worse than they did. And the why it hurts, with great power becomes great responsibility. When you know you can do it, when you know you have done it, and then you fucking do everything to fuck up, it hurts twice as much. Yeah? I know this, the stronger I get, the more powerful I get, and then when I don't use that power and I become incompetent or I make stupid decisions, it fucking hurts because I know what I'm capable of. But if people haven't been capable or they haven't understood this, then they don't feel that. But once they come to the retreat and go, fuck, you know what? I can actually do anything I want. I can actually have anything I want. But the only reason back then, because I was saying, and I was staying in my comfort zone, what do I do? Can I do it? Or they don't truly believe because they've never stepped into that power. So Fida said to me today, and this is why it fills my heart with warmth. She goes, Leigh, I want to say to you, you have transformed my family's life. You have given me a second chance. You've given me hope. You have given love to my husband, and I want to be able to repay you any way I can. She's saying, at the moment, there's so much going on. If this was me in the past, I would have just given up. Yeah? And I remember she told me this, and I said to her, Fida, I will call you back. I need to see someone. Because I actually started having tears in my eyes. I didn't want her to know that I was, having a little bit of an emotional moment. So, sister, if you're still on, I'm truly grateful for that. You got 5 beautiful children, an amazing, Kiwi warrior, and you're a beautiful mother. So, thank you for that. And there's, and I wanted to share that with everybody. So, being back in Melbourne, I see my old friends that I've grown up with. I see people that I used to party with. I see, people that you think even were, not these people, but other people that you actually thought gave a fuck about you. And you see people doing the same thing. You see people struggling. I've even had ex-partners of friends contact me because they're saying, hey, you need to contact so-and-so, they're lost. You need to do this, they're lost. You need to do this. You need to help out. And you see people, like some people have still got the same thing. Hey, I'm coming down from Saturday night, and they're 44 years old, still going out partying, taking shit drugs. Oh, where do you work? Oh, I work at a fucking supermarket or something. And you're just thinking, fuck, guys, let's go. Let me help you. Let me help you. Then on the other side, we're in Melbourne, yeah? We're in the showbag capital of Australia. And you've got all these people that look like they've got everything done. They drive Ferraris, Maseratis, fucking BMWs, Mercedes. Okay. Then you get thrown into a cage called a gym. And you're basically there bumping in and it's ego, look at me and the rest of that. But what I've found is, the more I spend time in those situations, the more I find people don't know what the fuck they're doing, if they're coming or going, or who they are. Because they come in with this big front, because there's nothing inside, so they put on this big front. Because confidence is quiet, insecurities is loud. Remember that. And what I started to see people are just showing up, not knowing or who the fuck they are, and showing up with all this smoke and mirrors, and all just, it's just one of those fun, those bloody whoopee cushions. That's what they do. They make this noise, and then they just go flat, and they're useless. Yeah? And I'm like, is that all you're going to say? Is that all you're going to talk about? And do you know what I'm saying? And how I know that? Because the energy that these people put out or don't put out, it is anything but inspirational. Nothing. And you see these people, they work so much on how they look or what they do. And then you hear these other people, I'm here for you, I've got your back. And what I started realizing is that these people they're basically like parasites. They just want to be around you to see what they can get or how good you can make them look. Yeah? But when there's a time or something, when it comes to an effort to see if they're a real person, they're gone. Yeah? So, there's a reason why I'm telling you that now as well. And there's a reason why I'm telling you there's a reason. So, through my journey and understanding where people know where I've come from being suicidal, from being down, from being bullied, from having an understanding of losing my way and not knowing where I'm going. At the end of the day, I had a conversation with someone and they were talking over me quite aggressively. And he goes, well, your rants, it's the same shit. And half of me said, well, you do not even know who you're talking about or what I'm talking about. Yeah? And it's so funny that so many people come from that fucking pain, come from that arrogancy, come from that not knowing, but they want to know. They think that they know everything because they're actually afraid and they come from that pain. So that's why they're abusive to their wife. That's why they're a pig at work. That's why they're just chasing money and they're losing themselves. Yeah? But there are so many people that are functioning from that place of pain. There are so many people that are functioning from that place of, I'm going to push back. I'm going to hurt someone else. Delusion. So now I have taken it on my mission to make sure in Melbourne, creating these workshops is putting people into a place of self-love and understanding to drop the facade and just fucking be happy. Yeah, because people put so much energy into look at me, look what I'm doing, and it's fucking up humanity. That they want to be someone so bad that they actually forget who they are. Yeah, they want to be this girl with this fucking image, and they actually forget who they are. And they want to be this guy that keeps blowing himself up for no reason, and he doesn't have any depth. That's not a man. That's called a fucking scarecrow. Yeah. So what I want to tell you, people, coming from a place from pain, anger, darkness, suicidal, antidepressants, people saying I got depression, which was a fucking lie, was just me feeling sorry for myself. From coming from a place, I'm not speaking for a whole month, coming from a place of anger where I'd rip people out of their cars if they cut me off. I've been involved in drive-bys, been involved in a lot of other bad stuff, been involved in certain brotherhoods just because I was scared and I wanted to be around other people so we could be a bully. We wanted to be the bully to people. Yeah? Because guess what? Since I haven't been that bully, do you think that I've been bullied again? Yeah? And I'm not going to get into details, but that's why I'm going to tell you that you get to a point when you go back, you trust in people, people want to act like fucking absolute pigs, and then all of a sudden, they think that's okay, but sometimes people, if you kick the wrong dog, it will bite you, and it won't let go until you're down, and you won't be walking again. I've experienced that because I've kicked the wrong dog a few times, and I'm lucky, and I'm blessed, I should say, here to be here. So, what I want to say to you about that is the understanding is that with that past now and what I teach about the mindset, what I teach about going forward, what I teach about saying, let's not look right, let's not look left, let's fucking grab people like yourselves that have come on board that actually, you know what, enough of the bullshit. Because guess what? If any of you people are the people that have come through beast mode and have come through or whatever, what I say to you all, Sarah goes, you can look good on the outside, but when it comes incomplete on the inside, and that's it. A lot of people, and that, I'll be honest with you, Sarah, a lot of that, or Sarah, I should say, sorry, that's the majority of these people, that there's no structure. Do you know what I mean? There's no, girls have got makeup on and all this, these guys with all these tattoos, I know, contradicting tattoos, and big dudes contradicting, but do you know what I mean? You get them to move their head, and you hear the beep, bing, 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 but 100%. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to give a declaration. So that all the people that have come through with beast mode, I know that I haven't been a perfect person. I know that I haven't been a perfect leader. But where it comes down to is at the end of the day, I just want to give you all love. I want to give you all love because you need it. Because when it comes to a point when at the end of the day, in families, in my family, that if you have an argument or you don't like what you do, you don't just go, I'm going to block you, I'm going to go away, and you just go. You sit down and you become better people and you work it out. You find how, okay, I didn't see that, you did that. Yeah? Because what I notice with these people that are doing that, they have a very similar pattern of being like that in the past. That's very destructive, very shifty, very, you know what, lazy. I want to be successful, but no, I don't. I'm not going to put in the work. So what I see with these people, you allow them in your environment, then you go, okay, it's the same thing over and over again. That they come through, have a massive breakthrough, they come to 2-3 retreats, they want to be a part of it, and then they want to go on to nothing. That's okay, because we know what? All I want to give you people is love. I want to give you hope. I want to give you motivation and anything that you need because you need it. Yeah? And at the end of the day, what I say is the only thing that I feel bad about is how could I have been a better leader so we can understand that, you know what, I'm still going to say the truth. If you fuck up, I'm going to fucking let you fuck up. And that's the thing, because you can't keep going on in life wiping your feet on people like a doorstep, like a fucking doormat. Not anymore. So what I want to tell everyone about where you're all at in your life and where you're going now, I want you to understand that the environment that you put yourself into is everything. Where you are right now, and you look at where you're at, that is your catalyst of change. You need to be around the right people that are better than you, or just as good, or better, even, you know, I would say better is even better, because they're going to keep you hungry. But at the end of the day, people, it's getting up with a plan. It's getting up understanding, not doing anything out here until you've programmed your whole day in here. Don't let your foot hit the floor if you haven't programmed in here. And you give that fully, you give 100%, or give you 200% to give or we grow. Yes, Eleni, 100. You're a superstar. I was gonna say you take the words right out about what I was gonna say. It's crazy. You're like a girl version of me. So this is where we're at. If you guys can understand. Oh, there we go. Look at that. We have late. If you're someone that needs an understanding, that's hungry for change, if you're someone that is saying, you know what, fuck this, I'm sick and tired of my little Honey. That's it, little Helen, and your little Teresa, little Spitfires, both of yous. But I'm sure I've got a lot of energy in there. What you need to understand, people, that everything that's going on in life right now, you can either pretend to make it up, or you can understand that, okay, let's get around the right people, let's make a change. Because why I told you my story, which is quite fragile, quite raw, and it's a little bit, it is quite personal. Because if I could do it, you can do it. And if you can do it, I can do it. Because there's no difference between us and anyone else that's making up but the belief system, the daily routines, and how we apply ourselves. So what I want you to understand, I want you to dig deep tonight, and I want you to be able to understand and be able to say, what the fuck do I want? Why am I here? And I don't want you to get caught up in outside work, because let's be honest, we can always improve our inner world. I can improve my inner world. Fucking Deepak Chopra. You know, anyone, Tony Robbins can. So where people are understanding is their outer world is not where they want to be, because you're not stopping, pausing, and putting enough time in. So why I created the 2-day workshop to fucking wake Melbourne up. Yeah? So all you Melburnians, you need to get your fucking ass to these workshops and wake up. Grab your sisters, your brothers, your aunties and uncle, whoever needs to wake up. Get them their ass down to, it's in St Kilda Road. I found the venue because so many people are going, where is it? Obviously, we got a date, so on and so forth. So I've got a beautiful venue, and we're going to rock it out as well. So it's going to be very much like the Bali retreat. We've got the transformational temple, and then we've got the not as big, but you know, obviously, what can you do in Melbourne? Transformational temple and identity playground. So we'll be learning and then taking all the learnings into guided meditation, visualization, identity creation, ecstatic dance. Boom! It's going to be rock and roll, people. So there's a number of messages I want to leave you with today. And the message is that doesn't matter how bad it gets, doesn't matter how fucking dark it gets, it doesn't matter how many odds you think that you've got against you. Get around the right people, build a plan, and let's work together every day to get through that. Yeah? And guess what? What we do and what you do is not for everybody. And you don't want it to be for everybody, because at the end of the day, if I listened to these people that go and come and bitch and backstab, and they say that, if I listened to them how many years ago, would I be here? No. So if I now, as I'm coming through, those people that would slag me, those people would put me down, some people still put me down now. If I listened to those people, would I be showing up with so much energy and conviction? No, because guess what? People's opinions about me have nothing to do with me. And what happens is, what you need to start understanding, that stop expecting so much from other people, because they don't expect anything from themselves. So why would you expect anything from them? They don't even expect anything from themselves, and you're expecting something from them. Respect the right people, and they will be in a small bunch of people. Lift them up, give them love, lock arms, and take yourself to a high existence. But what I'm going to say to you, and I'm going to give you a realization, you know, the people that they don't like this and they want to fight back and do that. There's two things. I could make your life a living hell very easy, or I'm just going to fill you with love and I want you to go on your way and give you blessings. And that's what I want, because that dark time is very easy and accessible, but it doesn't serve me anymore. So what I want to say, people, that everything that happens to you in life, you need to understand and look at it. What is the positive learning to take away from these events? And what I want you to understand that, yep, I learned that a long time ago. Thank you for sharing the story. Not a problem. And I share it because it put me on my path. And I know Elaine's story as well has put her on her path, that if I come from here and I come from there, that is a strategy that I want to share with you all. Because don't expect others to behave the way you want them to behave. You know, exactly, Steve. So that's understanding, getting through those dark days, getting through that time of, you know, fuck, do I want to live or do I want to die? Getting through those times when you feel like everyone's abandoned you. Getting through those times of just eating and eating, taking antidepressants, self-harming yourself. Getting through that time, taking out your pain on people. I know what that feels like. I haven't read a book about it. I haven't, you know, oh, let's go and do a seminar about depression and emotional intelligence. Fuck that. So if someone says to me, what are your qualifications? Well, I can give you now 22 bits of paper, or I can tell you what I've been through. And if you don't value what I've been through, and if you don't value me standing up here or sitting up here, a man giving you, speaking from the heart, and that's not, and you want to see a fucking certificate, so you know what I'll say to you then? I would say, turn around, I'm going to see your back because I'm about to kick you in the fucking ass. Because I don't want you to be in my environment. Simple. If you're going to be so stupid that you want to see a piece of paper or watch your PhD and you're just some big fucking pencil pusher sitting on a desk, then that's different. Yeah? Then that's, go back with those people. Don't come back here. Because at the end of the day, your opinions and all your other bullshit and all that other stuff that you're talking about does not get me excited. What gets me excited is people that have been through hell and back that want to take it to a higher existence. None of this shit, oh, don't do this, don't do that. Wake the fuck up, people. Seriously, wake up, stop wasting your lives, get around the right people to live so you can live and learn and share your, exactly what Chris said, life experience, and what Elaine said, life experience. And that's what it's about. We need to start understanding that if I've come from that place, from so far back, from fucking hard, you know, from that heartache, and I created that all myself, no one else. You know, oh, I thought I was cursed and I'm not supposed to be happy. Fucking wake up, Leigh. You know, wank. You know, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Get out of that, man up, get on with it. Fucking there's people for you to rule. And that's the exact same, you know, that's the same feeling that I had in October. That in October that I was knocked down to my knees, yeah? Whatever happened, it got to a point where it hurt 10 times more, yeah? And that's exactly right. Tariza anesthesia. The anesthesia is put you to sleep. You say your lowest, it takes you to get to your lowest point to get to your highest. And that's exactly right. And perfect time you said that. So in October, I went to another lowest point, yeah? And I honestly was lost from living in Bali, living in Hollywood, traveling the world, doing all that. I thought, well, that's how it's going to be. That's my life. It's set. But that didn't work out because everyone we went different paths. And I was just like, you know, it's just, I'm like, fuck, what do I do now? Coming back, being in the thick of things, hundreds of people needing you, not wanting you, needing you to be strong. There was times I did live streams and I broke down. There's times when I would still, I would still show up and I would still, you know, be there. And then afterwards I would collapse on the ground. But the secret of this is, people, that the more I would stop, the more I'd get caught up with that, the more I would journal, the more I would read, the more I would do the guided meditation, the more I would work with my crystals, the more that I did anything to get myself happy in here and here and for myself to believe and then put a plan to it. It fucking happened. Because what happens, and I'll tell you what's happened to me recently, I'm getting caught up with this. I'm getting caught up with these people just fucking up, getting caught up with negative energy, allowing myself and my attention to go out here. And it feels like that I'm pushing shit uphill. It feels like I'm getting drained. It feels like, oh, I can't be fucked, and getting snappy with people. And why? And I'm telling you from my own that most people say, no, I'm perfect. So I am very honest about when I allow things to affect me. But guess what? because I haven't been going in here, and out here is getting hard. It's getting sticky. It's getting heavy because that program or that energy, you're getting caught up with people's bullshit. And unfortunately, the game that we're in, the genre, the exchange, the purpose that we are in, you are working with people that are coming in with shit, people that are coming in with low vibration, broken people. And if you allow that to get you, that's why you need to do a lot of protection work. That's why you need to do a lot of release work. That's why you need to do a lot of inner work. But here I am going, oh, I'm okay, let's just do this, do that, let's do that, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, and as you can see, my cold sore is getting better, burnt out. So there's a few big takeaways from that. And what I want to say to you, let's start planning your new life. Let's get together and let's start designing that new life. Because what I want to say to you, and I hope and I pray, if you have 1 week to live, then I'm sure you do anything in your power to fucking smash it every day. Because 1 week, oh my God, I need to make the most of it. You need to start living like that today because you don't know what's happening tomorrow or around the corner, people. And I will say this again, that what happened with the understanding of why I created this understanding of what we do in Melbourne, because people can't get to Bali. It's a massive sacrifice. I understand that, because once you know that you're coming to Bali, you're already 50% transformed already, because bang, you're there, you get to Bali, it does its magic. But a lot of people, and I'm challenging you all, I'm calling you all out, a lot of you people have said to me since I've come back, you need to hold something here. And more importantly, those people that haven't said that, you all know that you all fucking need it. Yeah, you do. I've got some friends here who like to push buttons, who drive around in fancy cars, who think they're hitting a bit, but really deep down, they're fucking lost and they're broken. And you know who I'm talking about. So what I'll say to everyone is, stop with this facade and get on with it. Oh, I can't do it because it's my mate Leigh and, you know, rah, 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 and I knew him. You know what? Drop your fucking ego and opinion, because success and life, they don't care for that. It doesn't sit there. Maybe if you want to go one of your superficial bars around in Melbourne, maybe Paran or whatever it may, and that might, you know, sit in your little suit and you might think you're someone. But in the fucking real world, you know what? Dust yourself off, take off that suit, get the fuck on with it, and stop being that fake facade, because the world doesn't have much care for that. And either do you, because at the end of the day, that's not me being rude, that's me caring for what you really care about. And what you really care about is your happiness, is you being you. Because at the end of the day, you know what I do, people? Let's take all this away. It's been 1 hour and 10 minutes. Let's just drop it all. What I do, I help and lead you to be who you truly want to be. Yeah? If you want to put that in front of my fucking name, identity, whatever, I'm here to lead you to you so you can be at your core and you can be who you truly are, and you feel compatible, you feel powerful, and as Fida says, you feel awake. And you know what? Fuck. Then guess what? Your power comes out. People will start to get magnetized to you, as they have been with everyone else, as they have been with Elaine already, as they have been with Fida, as they have been with Manny and all my other people. The more you stand in your power, people, you will be magnetized, you will magnetize people, and you will start to change their life, and that's called the ripple effect. So if we could take anything away from this 1 hour and 11 minutes live stream, that I'm committed to allowing you to step into your power, because the more you can step into your power, we are saving and changing the world one person at a time. And that's not a fucking saying or some slogan. That's exactly what we're doing, people. And as everyone knows, if you want the ultimate experience, spoke to beautiful Natasha today, and she said to me, you know, she says, enough's enough. I'm willing to do anything. You know, and that's why we get to Bali, and everyone knows that the retreats, you have got 6 days of not hiding. So what I say to you, if you say you've got no money, then how much does your happiness, how much does your health, how much does your relationship, how much does your fucking whole life mean to you, and you say you can't afford it? But if I took you out after that retreat, I'm sure that you would say, if you had $1 million, you would do that. You would find it. And we don't want to even talk about money, but I'm telling you about the value that you're blocking yourself and holding yourself from. Yeah, I'm so fucking passionate about it, because every retreat that I do, I have a fucking breakthrough, 10 breakthroughs myself. But to see people coming through and people making an excuse and saying, well, you know, I can't, I don't have time, I don't have that. It's just ludicrous, people. You need to get out of that fucking scary frame because you don't understand what you're missing out on. And not because it's just mine, it's because it's the fucking life that you're holding back from. And the people that come through and then go back and do something, do nothing, I'm like, oh, but the people that come back, like Eleni, like Theta, like fucking all the other people that are on here, they just go, oh my God, now I actually understand that. Do the do's and it's up to you, and that's exactly right. So, people, let's wrap this up. It's so hot in here. What we want to be thinking about and what we want to be not actually thinking, what we want to be feeling right now is that you can do it. You can get up and you can be anyone you want to be. You can put anything that you want and understand about that, so you can do and understand that you can be the best version of you. What you need to understand that you need to start having a plan. You need to start having someone looking over you. You need to start having someone that is going to put you into the right place at the right time, keeps you accountable, because the accountability is everything. So I've shared something very raw with you. I've shared a lot of details with you. You might think better of me or you might think worse. It doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, what I really want you to have a great understanding of that. Fuck, look what Leigh's gone through. It hasn't been rainbows and roses. I was about to say raisins and roses. Rainbows and roses, people. See, it's getting late. I'm starting to talk like this. See, that's how I used to speak. So that's what happens when you get up in your head instead of in your heart. No, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Little Greek pocket rockets. So, what I want you to take away, people, I want you to start creating a plan. I want you to start allowing the right people in your life so you can start focusing on yourself every day and start to get excited like you've been a little boy or a little girl and it's Christmas, that you know that in 6 months your life's going to be completely changed. You know, in 12 months, you know, not who knows, you're going to have something to look forward to. And the only way you're going to have something to look forward to, if you create it, yeah? And that's it. You can't wait for someone, oh, I'm going to get a promotion or whatever. You need to start to concentrating on yourself. That's, oh, it's so bloody hot. So you need to start putting all that energy into yourself of how you are going to look forward to it. Start creating, because if you're not growing, you're dying. And I know a lot of you, the reason why you're on here, because at one stage or right now, you feel like you're dying. So let's get together. Melburnians, I call you all out to get your asses over here. If you want to take everything to the next level, let's get yourself over to Bali. Hey, and guess what? If it isn't for us, then if it isn't, if you don't connect, if you've got someone else that gets you the result, then go and rock it with them. You know, you don't have to come up with beast mode and what we do. I know what we do is amazing, and I only want a hand select group of people that we work with. Yeah, it's not, you know, when people say it's quality, it's quality, not quantity. So if there's someone else that you know that will get you the better result than we would, then fantastic, because that's going to change you. That's going to be a ripple effect. There's going to be other great leaders somewhere else, and eventually we'll all come together. But you know, that's what I say, people. So stop having that excuse, I don't have the time, I don't have the money. Because guess what? When you haven't got health, when you don't have time, then you will want to find the time. Then you want to find that money and that sacrifice. Yeah? So create a plan, create the right environment, and more importantly, create a day that you get excited to wake up to. Create a day that you can't wait to go to sleep, so you've got that time to go and rock it. So you plan tomorrow, tonight. You start planning that out. So you go to bed and you've already got your results created, ready to go. You've got the energy. You put the intent before you go to bed. The intent is, I'm going to wake up so empowered. I'm going to absolutely rock it. Okay, look, I'm just in my place of contribution, a job at the moment, but I've got an exit plan. I'm going to get out of that. I know where I'm going. I'm going to go to the gym. Look, I don't have the body yet, but that's okay. I will work to the gym. Look, I haven't got $1 million yet, but what I want, it will come. Look, I'm not helping so many people, but I'm on a journey. You have to keep creating. Do not get upset that you do not have the results overnight. They will come. Keep going. And that's what I'm saying, people. Be around the right people. Get involved. Keep doing what you need to do to become the best version of yourself. And create a day that you get excited about. Remember those words. Create a day that you get excited about. Because if you're waking up not excited, then what sort of results you're going to get? Yeah? So, people, you've seen where I've come from. You've probably heard it before. You know, there's no pity in the rest of it. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm working on me. I'm always fighting through my own battles every day. I'm working on me to become the best version of me. So let's all get stronger together, because I always say it's like the Avengers. You got Superman, Catwoman, Wonder Woman, Batman, the Thor, and we all come in together and we absolutely smash it together. Yes, machine, flat stick, you know how it rolls, Eleni. So that's what it's about. The higher the energy output, the higher the information input. Let's get excited. Let's take no, you know, let's just, I always say, just keep going straight, no retreat, no surrender, and create a day that you get excited about. And more importantly, people, put yourself in an environment that you're held accountable to your greatness. Have an awesome day. Thank you very much for listening to my story. As I always say, you could be anywhere in the world right now, but you are here listening to me, Leigh Bundy, CEO of Team Beast Mode International, the messenger of strength and the truth, the founder, creator of the ultimate polarity. Ooh, getting all sexy now, the ambience. So thank you guys. Thank you for your time. Much appreciated. Let's get together. Let's get everyone over to Melbourne. Let's rock it out. I want to have a reunion. I want to feel everyone's energy face to face. And more importantly, keep being the best version of you. Good night.